All right, happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome into the show. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr. Hope you're all having a fantastic weekend. Of course, some breaking news for the Niners last night, which we covered here on the channel. Go back and check that video out. But according to Mike Silver, Diana Rossini, looks as though it's inevitable that a Brandon Aiyuk 49ers divorce is coming after the season. A wild story, a shocking storyline and development because 15 months ago, he signed a 4-year, $120 million contract worth $76 million in guaranteed money and $30 million in average annual value. Now, coming up here on the show, I'm going to explain why I actually think this Aiyuk Niners divorce is good news for San Francisco. Before we do all of that and get into it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button here on the Niners Report. I'm bringing you content every single day, year-round, so join the movement, lock us in. I think eventually this, of course, ends with Aiyuk's release this upcoming offseason. And why is that? I don't think that BA has any trade value with San Francisco right now, and the Niners don't have any leverage around the league in trying to trade him. Aiyuk probably doesn't play this season. Teams have no idea how healthy he is, how he looks coming off a torn ACL, MCL, and meniscus. Plus, for a team that values culture, they might really need a wide receiver, right? But what kind of guy, what kind of person would this team be acquiring in a trade? So many risks here and unknowns from a health standpoint, personality standpoint. I mean, BA has not been showing up to team meetings. The Niners are unhappy with his lack of communication, and he's gone from a beloved player to a bad apple very, very quickly. And it's really unfortunate. I'm not sure what happened over time, but he gets taken in the first round in 2020. The Niners were not the happiest with him as a rookie, but during that injury-plagued season, he led the team in receiving yards. 2021 starts the year in the doghouse because he had a bad attitude, wasn't willing to be a blocker. But then, as part of that Niners 3-5 start, he helped lift them up off the ground, and the rest of the season, he was really good. 2023 goes over 1,000 yards for the first time. 2022 over 1,000 yards for the first time. In 2023, he becomes a second-team All-Pro, second in the league in receiving yards, second highest graded wide receiver in football, and he became a top 10 player at the position. And so he's gone from that to now this in such a quick amount of time. And he's gone from a player who played hard, was fun to watch, one of the top route runners in the NFL, a willing blocker, a good teammate by all accounts, to a guy who the higher-ups within this Niners organization have tried to reach out to him and say, BA, we want you back. Players have said, BA, come back. And it's gotten so hostile, it's gotten so contentious that he is not even fighting this with the NFL Players Association, with the Niners voiding the guarantees in his contract. And they did that because he was acting like a shitbird. So if a team trades for Brandon Aiyuk, they inherit the contract. They're bringing in a player who probably isn't going to play this year, coming off an ACL, MCL, and meniscus tear. And if the Niners just wait to release BA instead of a team trading for him, that team can sign Brandon Aiyuk to a much cheaper deal. So it makes no sense to fork over, let's say, a third-round pick for Aiyuk, take on that contract, and you don't know what you're getting from a health standpoint. Instead, let the Niners release him. You can sign him on the open market for a fraction of what the contract was. You can put incentives in there where if he reaches some thresholds, as far as production, games played, stuff like that, you can give him more money, but it will be an incentive-laden contract instead of paying him $30 million per season, average annual value. And I don't know who Aiyuk has around him, but how he's gone about all of this, not smart. He started ruffling feathers, him and his camp, a day after the Niners suffered such a crushing loss in Super Bowl 58. Then all throughout the offseason, cryptic social media post after cryptic social media post. He's tweeting directly at Mike Tomlin. He's posting all of these Instagram stories and Instagram posts. He, at one point, had his significant other, now his wife, film him on FaceTime with Jaden Daniels, saying that the Niners don't want him any longer. At one point, he went on the Pivot podcast and said, I want to play for Jaden Daniels in Washington if I'm not going to be with the Niners. At one point, he was posting Instagram stories of Jaden Daniels' practice film because they're best friends and they played with one another at Arizona State. It's not a good look. And so after all of that, and after he was kind of dealing with this in an immature way, the Niners still paid him. They gave him a bag. $120 million, $30 million per year, 76 guaranteed. Then he comes into the season after having not done anything throughout training camp or in the preseason. He's out of shape, plays poorly, has bad body language, a bad attitude after he became a top 10 highest paid wide receiver in the game. And then there was that practice situation where he intentionally came to practice with the wrong shorts on. Kyle Shanahan reamed him. Brandon Aiyuk threw a hissy fit like a little child and got undressed on the practice field, put the right shorts on. And that was kind of the beginning of the end, seemingly. Would Fred Warner ever do that? Would George Kittle ever do that? Would Nick Bosa or Trent Williams ever do that? No chance. Aiyuk, a petulant child. And again, this was after he got paid. And then more missteps on his part and his team's. He turned down a trade to both the Cleveland Browns and the New England Patriots. Brother, if you want out, you can go to one of those teams. You didn't have a no-trade clause. They were offering to pay him even more than the Niners were willing to pay him. And imagine if he went to New England. That looked pretty damn good right now. Drake May is a stud. Patriots are leading the AFC East. They're one of the top up-and-coming teams in football. They still have a need for a wide receiver. B.A. would have been their number one. Mike Vrabel is now the head coach, one of the best coaches in the NFL. Might win Coach of the Year, even though I think it should go to Kyle Shanahan. And now B.A. is not even fighting this with the NFLPA. He's willingly forking over and surrendering $25 million just so that he can go somewhere else. I've watched his YouTube channel, and I'm all for players and athletes having hobbies outside of the sport that they play. He's spending a lot of bread on all these exotic cars, upgrading them, and he's living a high-priced lifestyle. And we have seen these NFL players after their careers, when they make millions, NBA, professional athletes in general, they lose money very quickly because they spend it like they have an unlimited amount. And so BA has gotten paid and now is surrendering a lot of that contract and is forking away $25 million just to go somewhere else. Crazy situation. I'm not sure who's giving him life, professional, and financial advice, but it's not good. This is why you surround yourself with quality people. Now, I teed this up at the start of the show. I can't give you the goods right away. Come on now. But why is this good news for the Niners that this divorce is going to happen? It's how much cap space they're going to open up, and they get rid of a malcontent here. So immediate savings from voiding the guarantees. The Niners recover about $25 to $27 million in voided guaranteed money for 2026. Without doing this, they would have been obligated to pay out this amount regardless of Aiyuk's status. So this in turn will create some flexibility for the organization for their 2026 salary cap and cap management. And now San Francisco's in a really good spot where they're opening up a bunch of cap space. And right now going into 2026, the Niners have $34 million in cap space, nearly 30, so 34.6, $34.5 million in cap space. And so now that is going to skyrocket with this Brandon Aiyuk news. And if he's released in the 2026 offseason, the dead money cap hit, $29.5 million in 2026, prorated signing bonus, and accelerated prior guarantees. This is the cost of the Niners moving on from him, but it is manageable because of the money that they're opening up by voiding the guarantees and getting rid of the contract on their books for the future. So a post-June 1 designation will split the hit to $13.325 million in dead money for 2026 and $21.2 million in 2027, with a nearly $5 million cap credit in 2027. And that'll help ease the burden of this, right? But then with the net savings here, compared to keeping Aiyuk, whose 2026 cap hit would have been $42 million, including the now voided guarantees, the release will save San Francisco $12 to $15 million in active cap usage for 2026 after accounting for some of the dead money. So kind of in summary here, the Niners saved $25 to $27 million directly through the voided guarantees, with the total cap relief for next year now going to be north of well over $50 million. And just in looking at how the other teams stack up in cap space, the Niners are at 34 now. When they get north of 50 here, that'll be top 10 in the National Football League. Titans have 108 million, Raiders 108, Chargers 101, Jets at 99, Rams at 86, Commanders at 81, Seahawks at 74, Bengals at 69, and then after that there's a big drop off to the Patriots. So let's see, Bengals at 69 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Bengals are 8th. So the Niners will be in the top 10 in cap space with this move. And the Niners are also going to clear up about $85 million of salary cap space owed to Aiyuk over the next few years. So basically, the voiding of the fully guaranteed portion of his salary, $27 million, allows for the cut. And it'll take this annual pay off the books for the next 3 seasons. 2026, $27 million. 2027, $28 million. 2028, $30 million. So that's the good news in all of this. You lose a bad player. You did have to give Aiyuk about $31 million, which is absolutely brutal, but you do save money in the future. And you gave him this contract. You gave him $31 million, and he played 7 games after signing that deal. So you're, of course, going to have to eat some, but there's also a positive in opening up money for the future. And one thing I want to address before we hop on out of here. Some people have said this is on both sides. The Niners are to blame for this split. Aiyuk is to blame for this split. I just don't see how the Niners are to blame here. Why? Because they let the contract situation drag out a little bit? Okay, but that happens a lot. The Niners gave Brandon Aiyuk a 4-year, $120 million contract worth $30 million per year, $76 million in guaranteed money after he acted like an asshole. So why are they to blame for the Aiyuk fallout? Because they played hardball during a negotiation? Any big-time contract negotiation, the team and the player and the agent are going to play hardball. That's how this stuff works. It happened with George Kittle back in, what was that? 2020. Fred Warner, because he's just an angel. There was no contractual drama with him in 2021 or this past offseason. But with Deebo Samuel, with Nick Bosa, with BA, yeah, the organization is going to play hardball because the organization wants to win the deal, and so does the agent and the player. But Aiyuk and his camp started causing drama a day after the Super Bowl loss. The guy threw a temper tantrum and got undressed on the practice field because he wore the wrong practice uniform after he got paid. And that doesn't even include all the social media posts and antics that I talked about a little bit earlier. So it's really unfortunate how quickly he soured and became a bad apple, given how special of a player he developed into. But I don't see how the Niners are to blame here, because Kyle Shanahan went up to him at practice and said, dude, you're in the wrong uniform. You're wearing all red. We wear red jerseys, black pants, black shorts. Aiyuk's a member of the team. He can't just go out and do whatever he wants. You start running a business or a team that way, and rules are going to dissipate very quickly. Your culture is going to crumble. And again, would Fred Warner or George Kittle do that as a team captain? Absolutely no chance. So this fallout is because of Brandon Aiyuk and Brandon Aiyuk solely, in my opinion. All right. Just wanted to give you that cap breakdown as some of that contract context got some more clarity here in the aftermath of that story yesterday. Bombshell for Mike Silver, Diana Rossini. All right. Let's see. Monday Night Football coming up. Niners, Panthers, be doing a watch party for that game. Probably have a mailbag going out here soon. Was on with the Krug show. Larry Krueger on Friday. Might put a video out on that. But in the meantime, don't forget to hit that sub button. I got you covered with Niners coverage all the time. Thanks for watching.